It's time to play another scenario I have never even noticed the existence of today. Sangrel's Thief. The goal? Build a grail in a specific town. Normally, I avoid the build a grail scenarios as the grail is always buried in the same place on a given seed. So, why do I play this one? Well, because the grail isn't actually buried, it's in a prison hero's backpack. Suddenly, this is way more interesting to me. Sangrel's Thief is a medium-sized scenario with an absolute truckload of stuff going on. So I'm not gonna go through everything. In the overworld, there are 4 colors: red, tan, orange, and purple. Orange and purple share a pretty large grassland zone, tan has a smaller swamp zone, and red is in a similarly small rough terrain zone. The prison hero with the grail, Adelaide, is located behind a black border guard in red's territory, while the grail needs to be built in the random neutral town, which is guarded by a random tier 6 creature located in the southwestern zone, blocked by a neutral garrison with a bunch of factionless creatures. This seems easy, I hear you think. Just play red and free her on like day 2. No way this is interesting. You're wrong, dear viewer with an extremely strong Norwegian accent. It's not that simple. The Black Keymaster's tent is indeed very close by, but is behind a red border gate, and the Red Keymaster is definitely not very close by. In fact, he probably couldn't be further away if he tried. All the way northwest in the underground is where he's located, and the underground is a mazy mess. We find teal, green and blue here. Green and blue share a pretty large zone, while teal is cut off by some terrain which, to me, doesn't look like it should be unpassable, but it is what it is. This means that the Red Keymaster is only reached, if you don't play as teal, by either the western middle subterranean gate or the northwestern one, which are both in the shared orange-purple overworld zone. Now, if you don't play as red, how do you reach the red zone to free Adelaide? You can either go through the green or the other two-way portal, both in the shared green-blue zone, which take you to either red zone or the neutral town's zone. To reach these portals from the overworld, you need to go through one of the not lining up at all with their underground counterpart subterranean gates. All this means you're in for a long side quest, no matter which color you choose to play as. Unless you get Dimension Door or Fly, of course, which are both banned on this map, and there's no way to get any artifact to provide you with either spell anyway, to my knowledge at least. So it's all on foot, or horse I suppose. One final thing I find very interesting about this map is how the dwellings work. Apart from one dwelling in the red zone, every single one is of a random tier, but not all of them go all the way up to tier 7. Most of them stay in between tier 1 and tier 4. But this can open up a lot of different strategies, which is very interesting to me. Walking you through my strategy from this point would take away a bit of the mystery, I think. All I'm gonna tell you is that I'm absolutely not certain my strategy is the best, but that's usually how it is when there are a lot of moving parts in a scenario like this. Anyway, I'm playing as Orange, Rampart, Kier, check. All the other colors are just set to non-overlapping factions to not make seeds more unpredictable, check. Gold bonus for all, as I need gold, check. Let's do this. Remember to like, comment and subscribe. In order to find my preferred seed, I enter the northern goblin fight and reset once. Now I go back to the same fight, picking up some gold on the way, but this time the creatures join. For free. Already I have a bit of a power stack with my 62 centaurs. The slow dwarves are dismissed, and on day 2 I move south, getting 500 gold from the mystical garden, and take on the harpy hags guarding the nearby dwelling, which also join for free. This is the dream seed, I tell you. After getting 2000 more gold from the chest, I move Kier towards the enchanted spring. I have more than enough gold for a second hero, Ivor, who recruits the 14 town centaurs, picks up some gold, and moves a bit north. The next day, Kier recruits the dwelling Pegasi, rides up next to Ivor, who trades Kier, and the two heroes split the 100 centaur stack in half, taking 50 each, before Ivor gets more gold from a chest, swing by the homestead close by, getting up to 10 wood elves, and enters the first fight of the scenario. Lots of archers. I should probably have split the centaurs to 1 stacks, but I didn't, so I take the consequences. A fairly simple strategy: shoot the marksman with the elves and use the centaurs to take out the archers. After 3 quick rounds, I claim my victory. -8 centaurs, not great. Day 4, Kier picks up 5 more Pegasi from the other enchanted spring and has quite a nice army for day 4. She then makes her way towards the northeastern subterranean gate, getting XP along the way, leveling into advanced archery and advanced logistics. Ivor gets a bunch of XP as well, as he heads towards the northwestern subterranean gate, maxing out his archery and getting advanced offense. Good stuff. Day 5 already, and we're still in the starting zone. Kier lets Otto take the wheel against some Gnoll Marauders, before she gets XP from 3 more chests. The last one is probably not necessary, but what's done is done. And she gets expert logistics, so no complaints. The subterranean gate guard of Harpy Hags do not join, so I'm forced to take some losses here. Normally I lose a few centaurs, but I probably positioned differently to how I usually did. So instead, my own Harpy Hags take a beating. This is a straightforward just hit them fight, and I end up losing 2 of my hags. Good enough. Ivor, meanwhile, continues northwest, not doing anything particularly exciting this day. Just picking up a chest, which only nets him a neat 500 XP. Purple is already invading my territory, but that doesn't really bother me since I have no plans on returning. In the underground, Kier scares away some lizardmen warriors. And some goblins. But she decides to take on the goblins anyway. Otto loses a bunch of harpies, so I do this myself. After waiting, both of the enemy stacks move forward, which lets me hit them hard with my Pegasi on subsequent turns. Stack 1 is finished off by the harpies, while stack 2 dies after a retaliation. Easy peasy. Next up, Gogs. I make a bunch of Centaur 1 stacks and take them on. Otto loses too much, this is up to me. Simple strategy again, just move the 1 stacks forward to both block the Gogs and to take retaliation. The Gogs take out a few centaurs from the big stack on round 1, but on round 2 and 3 they are absolutely demolished by my strong stacks in 4 hits. 2 from my Pegasi, 1 from the Harpy Hags, and 1 from the big centaur stack. Clean and simple. Afterwards, some Wolf Raiders guard the 2-way to the neutral zone. Otto, again, loses too much, and this time I have to use my 1 stacks as bait. The Wolf Raiders, unfortunately, get a couple of morals, which end up trimming my big centaur stack a bit. Sucks, but it is what it is. Thankfully, they don't do enough damage to take out a single Pegasi, but it's still quite an unlucky fight, I think. Going through the portal, the other side is guarded by Magogs, and surprise surprise, Otto loses too much. It's a running theme now. Once again, a familiar strategy. 1 stacks for blocking and retaliation. Big centaur stack taking a hit, but I move the harpies a bit too far forward this time, which means that on turn 2, after I hit with the hags, wait with the 2 other big stacks and use the 1 stacks for their intended purposes, the Magogs can walk in and melee the harpies, so I lose 1 for literally no reason. Dang. Thankfully, I can just mow them down afterwards, limiting the losses a bit. Eventful day for Kier. Ivor, on the other hand, just rides a bit and picks up resources in his way. Contrasts. Final day of week 1 and Kier levels up into basic luck from a chest, takes on some Walking Dead, which is a very easy lossless fight. It's essentially just a long kiting fight, so I'm just gonna skip it. You're not losing out on much on this one. Continuing towards the red zone, she scares away some Wolf Riders and prepares for the garrison fight. Ivor keeps trucking on, narrowly not reaching the subterranean gate he's looking for. Good progress. Before taking on the garrison, Kier gets 2000 gold from a chest, moves her army around a bit, and heads into the fight, which Otto loses quite hard. There are 2 main problems here, the trolls and the sharpshooters. After baiting everything else down, I send a centaur 1 stack to take the troll retaliation, before sending everything else up and start hitting the troll with my Pegasi and harpies. 1 hit from the harpies and the Pegasi each, and 5 trolls remain on turn 1. The next turn, another round of hits from the harpies and the Pegasi leave only 2 trolls, which then go to defend the sharpshooters. My goal now is to keep the enemy stacks reasonably split, which I can achieve by keeping the big centaur stack down as bait, even taking out a large amount of rogues in a hit, which is further helped by the harpies. After taking retaliation on the trolls again, the nomads defend the sharpshooters as well, while the centaurs take out the final rogue and the peasant stack. A Pegasus hit leaves 3 HP on the last troll, and from here on out, it's basically a slog. A lot of kiting the mummies while the rightmost stacks are finished off. In the end, I get away with losing a lot of centaurs, several harpy hags, and a few Pegasi. It's good enough. Afterwards, it's straight for the red town, but a red hero, Sanya, blocks the way, so I have to deal with her. I deem Otto's losses as acceptable, and then just walk into Red's castle town. As it's day 1, I can just replenish my army here, but I need some extra gold first, so Ivor gets 2000 gold from a chest and takes on the subterranean gate guards of battle dwarves. These do not pose much of a threat. One stack is deleted in 2 wood elf shots, before the centaurs erase another stack on turn 2. If I were a smarter man, I could avoid all losses by moving my centaurs a bit better, but I don't really mind the -1 I get from the 4 stack of dwarves hitting, so we can just continue on. In the underground, I just hope Teal won't attack. Kier then recruits all the royal griffins, swordsmen and archers, and heads out towards Adelaide. Ivor makes some progress the next day, thankfully not encountering any Teal heroes, which is quite rare on this seed as there's usually a Teal hero near the subterranean gate. They would never attack however, so not much of a difference. And Kier takes her 3-faction army towards the red border gate, which Ivor needs to unlock. Very soon. But first, he needs to take out some zombies. This fight is a lot like the Battle Dwarf one, except this time I don't allow the centaurs to take any hits. The Wood Elves do a lot of damage due to expert archery, while the centaurs do their damage due to expert offense. 4 turns, and it's a good fight. The Crusaders guarding the Keymaster's tent are a different beast. This time, I need 1 stacks. Otto loses, unsurprisingly, but this is definitely doable. After waiting with 5 stacks, I send the 2 last down to bait the Crusaders away from my elves. Barring a morale, my elves should be safe, and they can send 2 nicely placed shots into the 4 stack, leaving 1. I then use 1 stack to take retaliation, hit with a big centaur stack, killing 2 out of 3 of another stack, and send the last 1 stack down as bait. The next turn, the elves only kill 1 crusader, and I let the top crusader stack die to a centaur retaliation. I move the centaurs next to the elves in order to just leave 1 hex open to the crusaders to hit the elves. This works, but the crusaders then just lay it into the centaurs while blocking the elves as well. I can then just wait with the elves, hit the 2 crusader stack with the centaurs, killing them, and let 1 of the 3 stacks attack the centaurs in order to slim the stack down to 1. A wood elf hit and a centaur retaliation kills the penultimate stack, and the final crusader dies at the hands of the mighty centaurs. No elves lost is a great result, but any win would do, as Ivor's job is now basically done. The red keymaster has been visited. Kier can pass the gate and take on the black keymaster's tent guard, Ogre Magi. This is a very long fight, so for once, I think I'm just gonna give you the cliff notes. Swordsmen are used to tank hits and take retaliation, Harpies are used for bait, and Pegasi, Griffins and Archers are used for big-ish hits. Done, that saves you 2.5 minutes of kiting. I lose all swordsmen, but the rest of my army is relatively unscathed. Swinging by the black keymaster, Kier finds another red hero blocking her path, Sorsha. Again, I deem Otto's results good enough, and I'm rewarded with a vampire's cowl. Yay. This, funnily enough, vanquishes red, which was not planned. Nice. After passing the black border guard, Kier takes on another creature guard, water elementals. After not quite making up my mind as to where the harpy hags should be in my army, I eventually find a good spot for them. Thankfully, this is pretty easy, but Otto's results were honestly decent here. I could have accepted, but I do it manually, targeting the bottom stack first with most of my firepower, leaving the top stack to my archers. Already on round 1, I sent everything in, taking retaliation on my Pegasi, eventually steaming the entire stack, leaving only the top stack. On turn 3, I can take retaliation on my completely healthy Griffins, which lets the not so healthy Pegasi get a hit in as well. After a Griffin retaliation, the elementals are down. Good. Now a bit of a chaining dance begins. Adelaide takes everything but the griffins from Kier and both move towards the castle town, setting up Kier nicely for the next day, even though Kier will not be the protagonist for the remainder of the playthrough. Ivor uses his movement to pick up a gold pile and gold from a chest, giving me enough gold to hire 3 more heroes. First, I hire Melodia, who prepares to meet Kier the next day, while also leaving her slow dwarves in town. I then hire Genova, who rides down to the garrison, patiently awaiting her orders for the next day. And finally I hire Sephiroth, who prepares to take on the nearby Gogs. For reasons which will be very clear in just a second. On week 2, day 5, Adelaide transfers the army back to Kier, as well as giving her the Grail. Kier then rides up to Melodia and transfers everything over to her, who then transfers everything but the Harpy Axe to Sephiroth. Could this have been done with fewer heroes? Probably, but the rough terrain makes it a little bit more safe to do it this way, and I had the gold for it anyway. Sephiroth then takes on the Gogs, which, due to my enormous might, decide to join for free. She then meets up with Genova, who happily takes the massive army, shuffles it around a bit, and takes on the Naga Queens guarding the neutral Conflux town. Surprisingly enough, Otto wins this, and I'm more than happy to see how we did it. This is on cursed ground, so no magic over level 1 can be used, but Otto can't use magic anyway, so who cares? Are you witnessing what I'm witnessing? Otto is actually using strategy? I'm so proud. He's guarding the shooters. What a day this is. A blessed day, not a cursed one. He even takes retaliation with the weaker stacks, sometimes at least. Purely by luck, of course, but we can still witness this glorious 1999 AI at its absolute peak. The free-firing Gogs do most of the work here, and after 7 beautiful rounds of beautiful AI on AI combat, Otto comes out victorious. Amazing. Only thing left is the town fight. I dismissed everything but the Gogs, just for fun, letting the Gogs, deservedly, be the stars of the show. Then I let it rip. Beyblade style. Kinda. We can pretend that it is at least. A well-placed fireball makes quick work of the sprites. The town is now mine. Genova enters after leveling up, making this the permanent home of the Grail. I exit town and am victorious in a mere 12 days. 396 score and Black Dragon rank is alright, no complaints. I can imagine this time being outdone, but I'm still pretty happy about it. I think it's always easier to use something as a baseline to improve upon, instead of working from nothing. So maybe I'll revisit in the future, who knows. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, I would really appreciate a like, comment and a subscription. Maybe even channel membership. You get my videos a couple of days early. I hope to see you next time, and that you have a might and magically good day. Bye bye. And as always, a massive thank you to all my channel members, but an extra special shout out to my Ballista members, Escubani, Van Lunis, Rick Vissout, and Lika. Thank you very much, guys.